There comes a moment in every man's life where standing back up becomes more important than how many times he has fallen. That moment usually arrives quietly, without warning, without applause, without comfort. It comes when the weight of your own potential starts to feel heavier than the excuses you've been making. No matter how deep the setback, no matter how heavy the failure, no matter how disappointing the year felt, you have one choice that changes everything. You rise again. Rising is not emotional. Rising is not dramatic. Rising is a decision made in the private corners of your life where no one is watching but you. What separates strong men from average men is not that strong men never fall. It's that when they fall, they don't make the ground their home. They don't start decorating disappointment. They don't start justifying failure. They feel the sting, they feel the pressure, they feel the embarrassment, but they refuse to stay down. Because staying down is a betrayal, not of your ability, but of your identity. Every time you stay on the ground, you prove to your subconscious that your limits are real. But every time you rise, you prove that your limits were illusions. The comeback always begins with honesty. Not emotional honesty. Strategic honesty. Not what happened to me, but what did I allow? Not why did life hit me, but where did my discipline weaken? This level of honesty is painful because it exposes the gap between who you said you were and who you showed up as. But that gap is gold if you use it right. That gap reveals the exact places your strength must be rebuilt. That gap is the blueprint for your transformation. You cannot rise again without understanding why you fell. You do not need to rebuild everything in a week. You do not need to overhaul your life in a day. What you need is momentum. One action done with intention. One promise kept with discipline. One routine honored with zero negotiation. This is how giants rise, one small step repeated with conviction. The comeback is never created by intensity. It is created by consistency. The men who rise are not the ones who explode with passion. They are the ones who execute even when passion is absent. Every setback contains the opportunity for a stronger identity. When everything goes right, confidence is borrowed. When everything goes wrong, confidence must be built. Built from the inside. Built from discipline. Built from promises kept under pressure. When you rise after a setback, you become more dangerous because you have evidence that you can survive failure without losing yourself. That evidence becomes the foundation of real confidence, not the Instagram version, not the loud version, but the quiet, unshakable version. You need to understand something deeply. The version of you on the ground is not your enemy. He is your reminder. Your reminder that you are capable of collapse if you take your foot off the accelerator too long. Your reminder that comfort is expensive. Your reminder that discipline never negotiates. Do not hate the version of you that fell. Learn from him. Study him. Then bury him with the man who rises in his place. When you rise again, rise differently. Rise with new boundaries. Rise with new routines. Rise with new non-negotiables. Rise with new emotional discipline. Rise with new clarity about what you will and will not tolerate in yourself. The fall showed you what needs to change. The rise is where that change becomes reality. Most people stay down because they only rise when they feel ready. You will never feel ready. Readiness is a myth created by comfort. Warriors rise not because they feel ready but because they feel obligated. Obligated to their future. Obligated to their purpose. Obligated to the man they know they can become. Rising is not about feeling strong. It is about refusing to let weakness write your story. Never forget, your future self is watching. Not judging - watching - waiting. Waiting to see if you will take ownership or make excuses. Waiting to see if you will stand up or stay small. Waiting to see if you will repeat the old year or build a new one. That future version, you has everything you want: discipline, strength, confidence, clarity, dominance. But he will not come closer until you start rising toward him. This year may not have gone the way you expected, but yours don't decide destiny, discipline does. And discipline is built in moments like this, where most people choose to collapse and you choose to rise. When the world slows down, you sharpen. When others lose focus, you regain it. When most people drift toward comfort at the end of the year, you move toward structure. This is why you rise again, not for motivation, not for applause, but for the separation it creates. Let this be your turning point. Let this be the chapter where you decided enough was enough, where you stood back up with more conviction than ever, where you made the choice that changed the trajectory of your next 12 months. Your comeback does not need permission, it needs action. and action is the only language your future understands. Rise again for the man you want to become. Rise again for the life you want to live. Rise again because strength is not in staying upright, it is in how fast you stand back up. Rise again because the world respects motion. Rise again because stillness is surrender. Rise again because the version of you that is meant to dominate 2026 cannot be built from the ground. Stand up, straighten your spine, rebuild your standard, and rise again. This is No Excuses Network.